Hey there, Noodles. I hope y'all are having a good day. I am. I just got out of the gym. I biked a good, I don't know how many miles I biked today. But because my Peloton bike that I usually use to bike is broken and not connecting to the internet, so I'm just having to manually use it. So unfortunately, it does not give me any feedback on how much distance I have biked, or how strong, or what the cadence or the strength of the bike, but like the weight of the bike pedals, I guess, or the weight of the tight. I don't know what is that word called that is on the bikes that you turn the strength up, like the toughness of biking up. I don't know the word for it, but that cadence or whatever it's called. There's no, what I'm trying to say is there's no record for me biking today, but I did bike for a good 20 minutes today, and then I went and did some shoulder lifts, and I did some back rowing to strengthen my shoulders today. Then I did some dead hangs and let my back decompress a little bit because I'm still feeling a little tight from that concussion I had a couple months ago. And I don't have a doctor's visit for another 2-3 weeks now, until hopefully they can see if there's anything permanently wrong with my back, but I don't believe there is. It just, feels really tight. I think it just needs to be readjusted with my neck. But anyways, enough rambling. Today we are talking about changes, bro. Right now I'm sitting outside on the swing outside of my community center, where I sit all the time after I go to the gym, where I get, I go to the gym, grab a couple free water bottles afterwards, and just come out here and chill for a good 5-10 minutes out in the sunlight, get some good sunlight in for the day. And I'm sitting out here and looking at the mountains, and they're really, really beautiful today. It's kind of like my favorite type of weather, where it's real cloudy and gloomy and dark and like stormy, and I love this type of weather, right? I know a lot of people hate it because they love sunshine and like seeing the clear mountains with a clear blue sky. But I think my preference, if I had to choose between two types of weather, would be this type, where it's like sunny on half the sky and the other half of the sky in the distance just covered in dark clouds and storm, and you can see in the distance the storms rolling in. And maybe it's a little bit more humid than I'd prefer, but it definitely has this vibe of just like vibing. It's like, this is the world. The world's gonna do what the world's gonna do today. And we don't give a fuck. Like, you can't really control that shit. So I don't know. Like, changes, bro. Like, the world's constantly changing. You can't ever control the weather. You can't ever really control many things in life. There's only a few, like, handful of like things that in life you really only can like have absolute control over, and one of those is like yourself and your own actions. And I've definitely realized that, especially in these past 2 to 3 months, a lot's changed for me. I think I really need to look and see what date I started this YouTube channel, and when I started that 120-day challenge. It was probably close to 120 days ago at this point. I probably need to see exactly how many days it's been, and see how much has changed in my life since I started, with this challenge. But I was really just thinking that there's so many things in life that I feel humans hold on to, and they hold grudges on, they hold resentment for, they hold anger, they hold animosity, just against other people, against the world, against the universe, and how it's treated them, or the cards that they were dealt when they started off in this life. And a lot of people are it stems from like a big thing of jealousy, I think, especially comparing other humans to other humans. And that's just like not the way I want to keep living my life. I've been living my life a very jealous, self-conscious, not thinking of others type of person. And I've lived a good 28 years of my life kind of like that, I feel. And that's not healthy. And it's not beneficial to the people around me, and it really does attract the wrong type of people in your life. And I don't want to keep doing that. I want to make some actual positive changes that are, permanent changes that I can look back on after the next 28 years and be like, man, I sat down there that one day, wrote it in a notebook, talked to people on YouTube about it, went to the gym, really thought hard, and just kept that concept in my brain for a good 24, 48 hours, or even a week, whatever it is, just to really solidify the idea that, I want changes to keep happening in my life, and I don't want to keep resisting those changes. And change, even though a lot of the time it feels like a bad thing and it feels like very negative, because sometimes change is negative. It feels negative. It's like, whether your partner leaves you or your family member dies or gets sick, or has an aneurysm or anything like that, or just, gets into a car wreck. Your best friend might get into a car wreck and die, Those are all changes that are like, can negatively impact your life, at least with the initial action. But at the same time, I think looking back, a lot of those negative things don't have to stay negative in your brain. Like here, I'll give a kind of dark example. I had a friend that I grew up with in middle school, younger elementary, middle school, and we kind of didn't talk after we both started going to different schools and different churches and stuff like that, because we were both very heavily involved with our religious parents when we were younger, and we kind of separated. And when he was like 2-3 years older than me, I think he was like closer to my sister's age, and unfortunately, a good 5-6 years ago, I believe, he ended up overdosing on some drugs and dying. And it was really hard for me. It really messed my brain up, because I thought I knew the dude was a good dude. He was one of the first people to ever introduce me to, new things like Star Wars, pets, like crazy, like lizards and chameleons, because that's what he owned. He was a very unique guy. He played Legos with me all the time as an elementary kid. He was one of the first people to ever get my creative brain to really like start wanting to try new things, even though it looked weird to me or felt weird or didn't look right. It really pushed me to be an open person. And hearing that he ended up getting to a place in life where it got so dark that he ended up suiciding on accident, because he was just at the wrong place, wrong time, and just using things to cope with pain. It changed my life in a very positive way, looking back on it. And at first it was very negative. Like the initial reaction and gut reaction, my body, my brain, and my life even had was very negative. I was very anti-drugs, but in like a judgy way, telling people they're gonna die and overdose if they even drink one beer, or that's the gateway drug into death, pretty much. And I was very cynical about it, and not healthily, and trying to control people with that type of stuff, and not realizing that people have to make their own decisions for the reasons they make their own decisions, and you can't control that. But the only change you can really make is make the choice in and of yourself to never go that route yourself, and learn more about it, and those are all different types of changes. Those are changes that are healthy and changes that are positive in the long run, because they've prevented me from doing very stupid things with my life. And by stupid things, I mean like making decisions to leave a situation that I know could turn ugly, or I didn't really feel safe in. And in the long run, multiple times it's saved my butt, because I'm like, oh, that could have put me into a place where I could have overdosed or tried something that I didn't want to try and got addicted to. So I guess I just wanted to come on here and just say, don't try to escape change, because once you stop trying to escape change and you embrace it, that's when the change can actually start happening, and you can start finding the positive and the negative. Because if there's a negative thing happening to you, there's always like a positive percentage that is an outcome. So even if it's like 1% or 0.001% of positivity you can find in a negative situation, you can always find it. You just really have to look for it. So yeah, I just want to go out there and encourage you guys to, next time you see something new or different, or something you don't really understand in your life happening, like a big change, whether big or small, embrace it and just feel it and see where it can take you, because you never know. It might just change your life. Alright, you guys have a good day. Love y'all. See you tomorrow. Or in the next video. One of the two.